Meet Malcolm. He's 80 and suffers from COPD, a condition that can make it hard to breathe. He is also overweight and smokes. He has type 2 diabetes and has had a stent fitted for angina. He's typical of many older people today living with several different long-term conditions. Since his wife died, Malcolm has been helping his elderly neighbour Eddie around the house. He reminds him to take his medication and walks his dog. Malcolm has become more breathless lately. He started struggling to get up the hill at the local park. He puts it down to older age. One day in the park, Malcolm feels breathless and dizzy. A passerby calls an ambulance to take him to A&E. The hospital says Malcolm has aortic stenosis, a severe narrowing of the heart's aortic valve. The surgeon says open heart surgery is too risky, but the option of a less invasive and less risky procedure, a TAVI, is not mentioned. At home, Malcolm gets worse and often visits his GP. He cannot take care of Eddie anymore, so his friend needs a care package of support. Isolated and lonely, Malcolm's condition deteriorates. He becomes reliant on social services. After a serious fall takes him back to A&E, a range of equipment has to be installed for him to cope at home. Heart failure causes his legs to swell and weep, so a community nurse comes daily to change his dressings. Malcolm is now very ill and can no longer look after himself. He has to go into long-term care. Life is miserable. 2 years after his diagnosis, Malcolm dies. What could have happened differently for Malcolm? In a different scenario, Malcolm understands how important it is to lead a healthy lifestyle. He even manages to stop smoking. When he gets breathless, he sees his GP, who listens to his heart with a stethoscope. Straight away, his GP detects a heart murmur and emails the hospital to arrange tests. He has an echocardiogram and gets a referral directly to the heart valve clinic. At the hospital, the team decide that Malcolm is a good candidate for a TAVI procedure. Malcolm has the TAVI under local anaesthetic in the catheter lab and is back at home within 48 hours. He is surprised by how quickly he starts to feel better. Pleased with his progress, the cardiologist says they won't need to see him for a year. And aside from his usual diabetes checks, Malcolm also doesn't need to see his GP as often. Malcolm has much more energy post-TAVI. Feeling like a new man, he lives life to the full. He resumes taking care of Eddie and becomes a heart valve voice ambassador to support other patients having a TAVI. People like Malcolm who receive a TAVI can benefit from a much better quality of life, as well as many more productive years of life.